Battle of the Challenges podcast with Vincent Cloud.
And Scott Allwood.
And
YouTube's Scott Allwood.
Yeah, YouTube's Scott Allwood. I was like, I don't know what to put. YouTube Scott Allwood. People will know, right?
Now they do.
This is Rivals 1, episode 4. And we start off at the beach. I don't know.
Fun day at the beach.
Yeah, it's a fun day at the beach. Oh, Cara and Laurel, they're fucking naked. They're swimming in the beach
I was
together.
trying to figure out who the left person was, so it was Cara Maria, who was just out there topless.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it was awesome. And then, great.
Well, Evan, there was a quote that I found funny by him that was like, the team that fucking swims naked together is the team that performs together. Just being like, they really are a good team.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of what he was hinting at.
It was hot.
Yeah, then they see Jasmine and they call her a little kid. And then all I could imagine was like Tyree having sex with that little kid Jasmine.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh. But that's about it. I don't even know why I mentioned it. Just to say, like, let's talk about naked people and shit.
Jen, I feel like, is a big name in the challenge for that era, but she hasn't really been relevant these episodes. But then I noticed that she got a little interview at the beginning of this one, and I went, oh, there you are, Jen. Haven't seen you around.
What'd she even say? I don't even remember.
It was just like, it was something about the beach and how she is happy to be there with everybody at the beach. So it wasn't a great interview, okay? It was just nice to see her.
She had her shot, and she fucking blew it, man. Okay, so basically, back at the house, the JEK plus Wes, they're saying, hey, it's time to initiate D-Day. And so they go to Paul
Should we
and Evelyn.
remind them what D-Day is?
D-Day is when America finally confronted... No. It's when they want to...
The alliance of Kenny and Wes,
yeah.
Evan and Nehemiah, Tyler and Bananas, who is still labeled Johnny in the show at this point,
yeah.
Decide that they are going to have Nehemiah and Evan throw the mission. That way they can put the votes of the house towards CT and Adam, and then hopefully take them out.
Yeah, because they only have 3 more guys jungle days, 3 more
I didn't think of it like that. I was thinking, man, this is real early into the season for them to be trying to so hard to get them out, but that makes sense if there's only a few left.
Yeah.
For the guys.
So Wes goes to Paul and Evelyn and says, yeah, this is our plan. This is D-Day, CT is as bad as the Nazis, So but Evelyn's just like, this is stupid. Like, I
loved Evelyn right here. I loved her right here. She was the smartest person in this room at this point.
Which I'm sure happens a lot to her.
She straight up was like, this is not the best move right now. It will not end. The result will not end in CT being sent home. Like, just being like, ooh. Like, it's not going to happen. Why are you doing this?
Yeah. She's like, they think that Evan can take on CT, and she's like, no, it's not going to happen. Evan is fat and out of shape.
Yeah, that quote killed me. I think CT is going to kick the shit out of Evan. He's fat and out of shape. I was like, well, she's not wrong. Out of the 3 teams, I wouldn't pick them to go against CT and Adam.
Yeah,
they're really underestimating Adam, if anything, if they think that they can beat him so easily because of maybe him. I don't know.
That's what I was thinking. I mean, because, Evan takes on CT, Nehemiah, I'm sure, can easily take on Adam. So I do kind of see their point, but at the same time, I mean, Evelyn's just like, this is bogus, like, this isn't going to happen, but Wes is like, it's done. We've already talked about it. You have to let us play our game. Because Evelyn and Paula, since they won previously, they have to make the order. So they have to go to them and say, hey, put CT and Adam first. Evelyn, she's like, do you even care what my opinion is, And yeah, sucks. I don't know.
Party
real quick.
Time.
Yeah,
you want to talk about the party?
I was like, I wasn't really quite sure. Truth or dare time, right? The only thing worth mentioning, I thought, was that Mandy kisses Laurel, which was really hot. And in doing so, I felt Mandy transferred something to Laurel, which was the CT's affections, because this is
I love the way you put that. That is amazing, because then all of a sudden Laurel is all about CT.
Oh yeah, man. And then it doesn't help that CT's like getting naked and like jumping in the pool and shit, and they're both like getting the vapors and stuff like that. So but
it took me a while to get through that scene. Had to keep
Why?
rewinding.
Rewinding.
But But yeah, then Mandy and Laura are both jogging like, his dick is actually a pretty decent size. Oh my God. Like, they're excited about a decent dick. I'm like, what the hell's going on right now?
They must be in poor supply over there. Okay, so let's just get to the mission, man.
Hammock crawl.
Yeah. What'd you think about this, by the way?
I liked the mission. It looked fun. It looked hard.
Yeah.
But it looked fun. It's way better than what we've seen at this point in the show so far. I thought this was a lot better than what we've seen.
Yeah, and it's so it's like, anyone could kind of come up with this. So it seemed cheap yet innovative at the same time. And of course it's over the water and stuff like that.
So right, so it's a bunch of hammocks that are high above the water, and then each teammate has to get to a hammock before they can move on to the next hammock, right?
Yeah, and you can't touch three hammocks at a time.
Okay. Which becomes important later.
Oh, yeah. I mean, otherwise we wouldn't mention it. And then there's another thing worth mentioning is that there's a 15-minute time limit.
Ah, yes.
So now Paul and Evelyn, they're kind of arguing within themselves because they have to make that list. And Evelyn's like, no, you have to do it. Because Paul's like, I don't know. I'm kind of scared of CT and shit like that. Yeah, because
Paula all of a sudden is going... It finally dawned on Paula at this point, like, oh, crap. What did I agree to? Mm-hmm. Because if they win, if CT and Adam win, they're going to look at me and go, oh, wow, you tried putting us first. So next mission elimination is a girls' day. You're going to be getting put whatever.
Yep.
And then Evelyn is like, told you so.
Yeah.
And Paula's like, well, do you want to change it? And Evelyn, still being the smart person in the situation, goes, we can't now.
Yeah.
Because of what you've already said.
Yeah.
If we change it now, then the bigger alliance is still going to be after us too. So it's just...
You can't break your word in these games, yeah.
If you flip on your word, you have nothing in this game, is what she said.
And then, of course, and then it was great because now CT's like, oh, see, like, they don't have your back. And Adam's like, I'll tell you this, if Evan or Kenny or Johnny had anything to do with this, things are going to change. So let's cement that because we'll forever get back to that quote. And
I thought Adam at this point said something like, people hate CT more than they like me. He's still being kind of naive in his interviews of like, they want me around, but man, they hate my teammate so much they want me gone too.
Yeah.
And that's not, and even just from his mentioning of the whole things are going to change if that's the case, it's kind of just like, I think he's finally starting to see what everyone else has already been seeing this whole season.
Yeah, and CT is like, you know what, I mean, he's not really like accusing Adam or going against him or anything. He's just saying, with a smile on his face, kind of warmly, he's just like, oh, so you'd rather be friends with the enemy than with your own teammate and shit like that. So now CT and Adam have to go while Mike and Leroy have to go. And Mike and Leroy, they're doing okay, and then Mike ends up, like, flipping in the hammock, and everyone's like, oh my God, Mike, and shit like that, and he's able to ride himself back on there, and everyone's cheering and shit.
Yeah, they love it.
Yeah, and then Adam does the same thing. He flips around, no one says a thing, CT's just like, just calm down, get back, and he does. He ends up flipping back, and CT says, I love
crazy.
This kid. Yeah.
How did this happen? Not once, but 2 times at the same time, basically. Yeah. Like, if I flipped over, all right, sorry guys, I'm going, bye. I'm in the water at that point. That is impressive to me that they were able to kind of shimmy the way back up. This is a big moment in Adam's mind, I feel like, with everything that's kind of going on at this point, because like nobody says anything, like you said. It's just crickets at this point. So then he's like, wait, why were they cheering for him and not me?
Yeah. I'm hoping the evidence kind of piles up in his mind, but it was great because he writes himself. CT's like, he's a little Spider-Man, I love this kid, so those little bits and pieces are helping them get pushed together a little bit more. So once they're on the ground, Adam's like, yeah, no one was cheering for me, and Mike's like, I would have been cheering for you, but I was in the middle of the hammock challenge.
I was going to bring that up if you didn't. That made me laugh.
It was a good line. I like that.
Another thing that I liked at this point, no DQs so far, and I was like, because the past few is like DQ right away, and I'm go, oh boy.
Yeah.
So right now we're looking good.
Well, speaking of, I mean, for next is Sarah and Caitlin and Jen and Mandy. All the notes I have for Sarah and Caitlin is LGBT DQ. because Caitlin refuses to even get on the hammock.
What I loved was earlier in this episode, they set it up to where she was like, they gave her some interview for us to watch. She was like, I didn't do good last mission, but this time I'm going to destroy it. I got to show them what's up. And then right when this mission starts, she curls up into a little ball and is crying in front of everybody. It's embarrassing for me to watch. Like, I don't understand how she didn't, like, just jump and pretend to do it at that point. It's hard for me to watch. But she wanted to prove herself, and then she immediately gives up.
Yeah,
couldn't help but laugh.
It's just
so I don't understand that mind frame that someone wants to prove themselves so badly, but then doesn't even try.
Yeah,
they're scarier. Them jumping off the edge was scarier than this mission. The edge back in episode 1 that was scarier than this.
And then the one right before that where they had to jump on the zip line. Yeah, like those both were way more scary than crawling to the hammocks and shit. So whatever, man. So at least Sarah gets on the hammock, but Caitlin does not, so they're instantly DQ'd. Next was Jen and Mandy. Jen actually, they get there a little bit, like maybe second or third hammock. Then Jen flips and falls. And that's about it, I guess. They DQ as well, which sucks. But you know what? Mandy didn't DQ, so there you go. How about that?
I wouldn't call myself a big Sarah fan, but I did appreciate like her after the fact of this mission with Caitlin just being like, if this was a girls' elimination day, I would be livid, basically. And I guess at some point she was just kind of let it go in a way, which I guess I probably would too. I'd be like, I'm mad, but it's not our elimination, so let's do better next time, please.
Yeah. I have some things against Sarah, but you know what? That'll come later, I guess. So next is Kenny and Wes and Brandon and Ty. Brendan and Ty, they end up doing really good, but Kenny and Wes, what happens there, Scott?
Kenny says all they need to do is just not DQ. So he goes out, gets on the hammock, immediately flips around like we've seen before, dangles around for about 30 seconds, immediately falls. So he immediately DQs, and it's so strange to see Kenny do so badly. In past season, he's a strong performer, and then all of a sudden this season he just doesn't have it in him.
No, and
like Banana says, he goes, if I didn't know Kenny, I would think that he was purposely screwing it up, like just DQing on purpose because it looks that bad.
Yeah, and at first I was like, could he have wanted to throw it? And I was like, I don't see why he would want to at all, but yeah.
And even if he did want to, it would not that quickly because then he would be in last place. So, there's no way it was on purpose.
Oh, it's just horrible. Like I have no words for his performance, and this is his 4th DQ or failure in a row.
Oh yeah.
My God, man. Okay, so next is Jasmine and Janae versus Laurel and Cara Maria. Janae. What?
Well, sorry. No, go ahead with John A.
John A. She pulls a Kenny, as she says. It's the first hammock she falls off and shit like that. And Jasmine, she's just like, oh, okay. So she relaxes on the platform. She's like, I don't even have to go.
She does a little pose, yeah.
Yeah.
I just get to look cute.
Yeah.
But yeah, Laurel's like, we're the only ones with any body strength.
Yeah.
And then they're going and they eventually complete it. And I'm like, hey, Cara Maria's all about Laurel believing in her.
Oh
I feel like Cara Maria would suck at anything in this season if Laurel wasn't kind of like going, no, you got this, come on, Cara Maria. And for some reason that pisses me off. Like, I'm not the person with the most confidence in the world, but I have some. Like, I'm not going to need someone to feed me lines every single second of the day.
So you're mad at Cara, not Laurel.
I'm mad at both of them. I'm not enjoying their team.
Well, you know what though? This is their second season in a row being teammates. Remember, they were teams on a Team Grey, Cutthroat.
Right.
So it is kind of interesting. But they're able to work together and they're able to cross, which is very important because so far no girl could.
Right.
Next is Evan and Nehemiah versus Johnny and Tyler. Evan and Nehemiah, they actually get across first.
Yeah, because they decide, okay, well, if Kenny dropped off right away, we need to actually try and win that way. Because at this point, they don't know what's going to happen. Because Adam and CT got past real quick.
Yeah.
So like, true. we have to win so they don't win. That's their mind frame.
So they get across first. They actually beat Johnny and Tyler. Johnny and Tyler. Tyler has this thing. He says Johnny is comforting at odd times or whatever. I feel like he could sense my nervousness and stuff like that. I'm like, odd times, like when you're in the middle of a challenge, like that's a good time to be comforting. But yeah, they are getting together. I guess that's the point of the quote. So they get across, and then finally is Paula and Evelyn, and Evelyn's saying like, hey, we want to keep this momentum. We won previously. Let's just keep on going. And Paula, she ends up flipping, maybe in the middle, something like that. And she's hanging there, and she says, "Oh, I want to pull myself up, but the water looks nice and cool, and I just want to see who wins for the guys or whatever." So she lets go. And I'm like, I don't know. I kind of felt that was kind of a lame excuse.
She's basically saying, "Screw it. It's a guy's day. Who cares?" Basically, like Caitlyn did moments ago.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't want to try this. I'll just cry over here instead.
Yeah, but in
a less embarrassing way.
Yeah, less embarrassing, and I guess maybe that's why Evelyn didn't yell at Paula like I kind of figured she should. But Evelyn says, "Good job, Paula," But I was just like, no, I would have been mad, Okay, so
I still want money. I still want $1,000.
Yeah,
please, thank you. The prize is $2,000 if they still win this mission. That's still more money than I had before the mission.
Yeah,
maybe money doesn't mean much to these reality folk.
I don't know, especially Paula. I mean, that's all she does, right? This is like, what, her 9th fucking challenge or something like that? Money means everything to Paula, I would assume. Okay, so finally everything's done. This is actually a really quick mission. Like, how long have we been talking? Only a couple minutes. So the entire mission's done. What's really funny is that there's actually no girl winners. No girl was able to cross within those 15 minutes.
Because you see that Cara, Maria, and Laurel do. They're the only ones. And you're like, oh, okay, well, I guess they got the money. Let's move on. Because you feel like you know what's going to happen. And then no, like TJ goes, so turns out nobody passed the challenge under the time limit of 15 minutes. It's a little embarrassing for everyone because then Paul is like, what about the money? So no one gets money? And he's like, no, you don't get money just for no reason. You're supposed to win the challenge.
Yeah. Do you agree with that?
No, yeah, I agree with that 100%.
Yeah? All right. Okay.
They have 15 minutes to do it. Sure. Everyone else DQ'd, but they still didn't. He said that.
Yeah,
it wasn't an overdub. It wasn't like
holy shit, it was
an afterthought. It was like him actually saying it that day.
They're like, way to go, TJ. When you have to ridicule players, which is basically the only reason why people remember you, that's when you don't have to be overdubbed, because that's that comes so natural to you. All right, so now to the guys. The top 3 are once again CT and Adam, Johnny and Tyler, and Evan and Nehemiah.
I forgot what happened at this point.
Evan and Nehemiah. Yeah.
Well, I was like, oh, okay, CT and Adam are going to win. They were pretty quick, so let's see what happens next. Then, boom. Evan, Nehemiah, fastest time.
But
what? Oh, no, that's...
But at that second, though, at that moment, right before he's like, actually, you guys DQ'd because you touched 3 hammocks at a time, when he did say Evan and Nehemiah won... There's that's the first moment where Evan and Nehemiah have this little bitty moment. Evan kind of looks at him, puts his hand on his shoulder, and that could have really helped their...
Yeah, if they won, like, they would have become best friends at that point.
Well, I'm not saying besties, but
besties.
Like, it really would have helped their relationship.
Oh,
because, I mean, in the future episodes, they really don't get along. Yeah. But that could have helped them, and I feel kind of bad about that. But instead, it goes to the default winners, Johnny and Tyler. Johnny and Tyler, they're jumping up and down, and Evan's
because Evan and Nehemiah, they DQ'd because of they touched 3 hammocks at once.
Yeah.
So then, I just...
Yeah, but now, in the middle, Johnny and Tyler win, but I loved Evan's quote. He's like, they're jumping up and down, and it's like, pump the brakes, sweetheart. You won by default. I just loved it. But yeah, Kenny and Wes, they're automatically in the jungle because they went down so quickly. This is their 2nd jungle in a row. It's nuts, man.
Right. And Kenny is just a hot mess at this point. You can see, like, he is laying there. He is depressed.
Oh, back
he
at the
is,
house.
yeah, he is just done for. Evan's hanging over him. He's like, I got my buddy on suicide watch right now. Kenny's over there. I'm losing my edge, man. And
he says, I lost my mojo, bro.
Oh yeah.
And then Evan's like, Adam, have you seen Kenny's mojo? And Evan's like, I think I saw it earlier, but
they start wrestling, and then Kenny's just still on the bed, just moping, and they're over there having a fun little moment, and Kenny's just
poor Kenner.
But I love it. I love this at this point. I think it's really interesting to see when top dogs end up on the bottom, and I think it was needed for Kenny in a way, because he had gotten a little too big for his goddamn britches at this point in his challenge life. He still is too big for his britches, but at least at this moment he had a little bit of like reality hitting him. Oh wait, I guess I can't do everything perfectly and can't be the best looking guy and best challenger. And those thoughts are going through his head. He's like, what happened to me? I used to be so good.
Yeah. Now we cut to Wes talking to Mike, and he's like, you know what? Basically, the top dogs were trying to get to the end. They're on the chopping block, but not today. I love how he's just being straight up honest with Mike. He's like, so honestly, we're not going to go against you two because we think that if we're put in against a puzzle, you're going to beat us. Where
Mike's like, he's like, oh yeah, I don't care what the reason, and you would think that I'm going to beat you in a puzzle. Okay, I'm the best at puzzles. You better not go against me because you'll lose.
Yeah, that was awesome. And he kind of like winks, like,
all right.
I am the best at puzzles. But so yeah, Mike goes into Leroy and says, Wes told me that, who I do trust. He says that Brandon and Ty are on the chopping block. So, what's Leroy going to say? He's not going to fight it or anything. So, at actual deliberation, it's great because Brandon goes up there and he says, well, I heard that me and my partner's names were brought up, which is really surprising to me. And he says to the crowd, you have to question who you're following. You think it's not going to happen to you, and people are putting faith in the manipulation that is going to happen to you eventually. And he's speaking the truth, man. That's the whole point. Yeah. He's laying it out there. He's like, these guys are going to fuck you over, So let's try and change it up a bit or whatever. But fucking Adam King, he's like, okay. After he says all that, he's like, my vote is for Brandon and Ty. And that just starts the train, it's just... I was mad because, like, Adam of all people.
Even after today of what you went through on the challenge, getting, like, that the other team's gunning for you. So what you were horsing around with Evan in the bedroom, wrestling with pal Evan.
Yeah.
You're still going to just immediately shout out his name after what he said. You got to question who you're following. Basically looking straight in Adam's eyes. Question who you're following, Adam. And then Adam goes, yeah, okay. You! For elimination, please.
Yeah, it was so annoying because Adam basically cut off Brandon as soon as he could. He's like, okay, well, my vote is this. And CT sitting there, he's like, yeah, of course I would like to send the alliance against each other, but in reality it's never going to happen, Mm-hmm. So it does suck. I mean, Brandon's speaking the truth, but it does not matter.
I wrote down a note that's saying, like, Jasmine and Jonah, they voted for, I think, Mike and Leroy, right? Not for Brandon and Ty. And then Wes immediately is like, what are you doing? Why are you voting for them? You just put a target on your back. As if John A. and Jasmine ever mattered to anyone in this house at all.
Yeah.
And it made me so mad for him to do this. Like, the next week, they weren't going to be the people he was trying to choose or something.
Right.
I don't know. Just about it, because I think John A. even said something like that, as if our votes mattered anyway, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, at the club...
Yeah, at the club, what's happening? Oh, fucking Mike is getting all these lap dances and shit from
every girl.
Jasmine. Yeah, and I'm sure he doesn't mind that this is all done ironically, because they're like, let's do it to the nerd and shit like that. But he doesn't give a fuck. I mean, everything is happening to Mike in a good way, ironically, like I'm saying. Like, they're like, oh, he's sweet and innocent and shit. And it's curious because I actually heard that in reality... Mike is a fucking player, man.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he really played up the geeky, nerdy part of himself in Real World Las Vegas. I've never seen the show, but I heard that he really played it up because he said that his grandma was watching the show or some shit. But
now everyone thinks he's so sweet and innocent.
Yeah.
Oh, let's talk to him. He'll be so kind. And then he just plays his, sweet attitude, but at the same time,
yeah,
I got a different side to me.
Let's give that little angel boy a boner. That's all the girls are doing and shit. And so, what does Paula do? She licks tequila out of Mike's little belly button and shit,
Dude, when she does this and she looks up, her face after she if you haven't seen this episode, please go to this exact moment so you can see Paula lick tequila off of Mike's belly button, pull up, and just give the most disgusted face you've ever seen in your life. I feel like genuinely is attracted to him in some fashion, but she still is just mortified that she just did this. Maybe she got a couple hairs in her mouth. I don't know what happened, but she comes up just scared for her life. Like someone just told her that they were going to kill her in 2.5 hours. I don't know, but there is a moment of her face that killed me when I was rewatching this.
She's like pulling out treasure trail hair out of her teeth and shit like that. But on the other side of the bar, Laurel is flirting with CT because she's like, you know what? I see him flirting with Mandy and I want him to flirt with me because I want to find out why everyone thinks he's a monster and shit like that. Which I'm like, isn't that what every fucking girl does? It's like, it's actually kind of a proof. I've had girls and I just have to say, hey, don't fall in love with me. They will. You know what I mean? So it's a subtle form of manipulation that happens to almost every chick. So here she is. It's a very
strange thing. It's very strange.
Yeah.
To be like, oh, he's so mean, but if I could get him to like me, then I would know that he's not really mean. Like, what do you mean? Why would you want some mean guy who's nice to only... Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Let's get back to the show. She goes over to CT, wants a piece of gum. Like, he's chewing gum, so she's drunk in his face. Like, I want a piece of gum. Give me your gum.
Yeah.
And he's like, no. She's drunk. He's clearly not.
Yeah,
he's just doing what he wants to do.
She wants the gum that's in his mouth currently.
Right.
It's so fucking... yeah, whatever. And she's like right there in his face and stuff like that. And she's like, you keep on talking to Mandy and stuff like that. And
Bananas is like... He has some quote that's like, she's basically fraternizing with the devil, man. Like, that's the worst person you could talk to. Like, what?
Yeah,
you know who you are?
He's clearly drunk. He's just like kind of like his eyes are kind of slit and like slurring. He's like, he's flirting with you, and you're only thinking with this. And he actually reaches out and touches her chest to say, like, I'm talking about your heart here.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, he got away with a little bit of something, you know.
We all know his real plan. He wanted to touch them titties.
Laurel
and then he went and told his friends Evan and Kenny in the bedroom. Yeah. Dude, I totally touched the top of her titty.
It felt more like a peck, but whatever. So back at the house, a little thing with Mandy talking to Paul, and Mandy's like, they were inches from each other's face, and Mandy's like, ew. I don't know. And then when they hug it out, like, it blurs out her little cooch area and shit like that.
Well, Paul is like, CT is doing work. I think he wants to start a cat fight. Like, like he doesn't really give a shit about either of them. He's just like, yeah, oh, you like me? Cool. Maybe I like you too.
Oh, yeah.
Fight. Finish her.
Oh, okay, so we got some pre-fight jungle talk, as I like to call it. I don't know what it would be called exactly, but so Brandon is on the elliptical machine, and he's like, I'm going to throw this out here, I'm going to shock the world, beat the power known as Kenny and Wes, come back, have sex with all the girls, and win the whole fucking thing. And I was like, that is awesome, man. And I, after him saying that, I was like, wouldn't it be great if he could, or if he did, or whatever, I was like, oh, because... I like Brandon. I mean, I always have.
I like Brandon a lot.
Yeah.
Big Brandon fan. And I actually never cared for Ty until this area of time at this moment. And I think I even came into these podcasts going, man, I hate Ty. But rewatching the show, And this episode in particular, I'm like, Ty's not too bad. He's kind of laying low. He's just being a good partner at this point. Okay, maybe he wasn't laying low at the beginning, but
No way.
he's laying low at this point, and he's actually, you can tell he's getting along with his partner, Brandon. And I love Brandon. So if Brandon likes Ty at this point, I feel like I'm kind of liking Ty at this point.
Their room, and Nehemiah's like, remember, everyone's beatable and shit. And he's like, so have you've been in elimination before? And Ty's like, yep. He's like, against Brandon. He's like, this Brandon? And he beat you? He's like, yep. And it cut back to them, Brandon and Ty in Cutthroat. Remember that?
Yeah.
Where like Ty
gasses out.
He gassed out, and it was such a sight where he was just lying there, just like
yeah, it was really weird, actually.
Yeah, and he disappointed everyone because if you remember that blue team, they put so much stock in Ty, especially Johnny. He's like Ty, he's like the next generation, and he was putting so much faith in him, but he let them all down. He had to get put on a stretcher or something like that, taken off from the paramedics and shit like that. So. So disappointing. And then we cut to Wes. He's talking to Tyler, and he's like, it's hard for me not to have an ego because I keep beating people in things in real life and in these games. And he's like, it's like I'm a superior being, and if they put me into the jungle and it's just a rock paper scissors thing, I'm fucked. Like he's saying, like there's no other way I could lose unless it's some random bullshit. I just loved his ego in this episode. He was really ramping it up this episode. It was good pre-jungle talk is what I'm getting at, I guess.
I can dig it.
But Kenny, on the other hand, he's in the JEK room with Adam King, and they're sitting there just quiet. It's the quiet before the storm, as Evan says, and they're all just sitting there, just kind of. I don't know, how would you describe the scene necessarily, but Evan's like, hey man, give me your jersey, and he puts on Kenny's jersey, he's going to support him and shit, and what I really like is that Evan truly does, he loves Kenny. They're really good friends.
You can tell they're like really good friends,
yeah.
Not just here, but outside of the show as well.
Yeah. Plus I think they have that t-shirt company, Suck Yeah, something like that. Did you know that? No?
I don't know.
All right. But yeah, that was a cool little scene. So now, on to the jungle, which is called Going Up, ironically enough. Your voice definitely went up. And describe this. It's what is it? Ropes?
There are
water? 4
ropes. Pretty long ropes, I feel like. They were really high up. Dangling over a little water pit. Mm-hmm. Which was deep, a very deep water pit. If you were in that water, it was up to their shoulders, basically.
Yeah, that's right.
But so you have to jump over from the edge. You have to get into the water, basically, and then climb up these ropes. And the first 2 people to do this, the first team to do this, twice wins? No,
it's just once. If both your teams can get to the bell and ring it before the other 2 can, you win exactly. But if one from each rings the bell instead, then you have to go into a sudden death round with those 2 people that won.
Right.
And
really, when you first watch this, you're like, okay, well, this is going to be boring. This is going to be Kenny and Wes destroying those other guys. Let's get it over with. And then it happens. So
well, there was some apprehension at the beginning. Kenny. Evan was like, he went up to Evan. Kenny went up to Evan, and Evan's trying to what do you call it? Motivate him or something like that. He's just like, hey, listen, buddy, I'm 30 pounds heavier than you, and I can get up those ropes. And Kenny's like, yeah. He's just so unsure of himself. It's such a different Kenny that we're seeing in this episode. Oh, it's really nuts. So Evan has to do his best to be like, dude, you can do this, and shit like that. So, we'll get to round 1. They jump into the water. They start climbing the ropes. Kenny does horrible. He is absolutely in last place. Right? Yeah, he is. And Brandon is actually fat. He's on
in
top.
First place.
Oh yeah. And Wes and Ty.
Up there, and then you're like, what the hell?
Yeah. And Wes and Ty, they're just kind of like even, but eventually Wes pulls ahead. Brandon rings the bell first. Wes beats Ty and rings the bell second.
Which was crazy to me. Like, obviously I love Brandon. I want him to succeed, but then he actually does it. He gets there first, and I go, "What? You just beat Wes? Like, are you kidding me right now? Look at Wes. This is his prime. Like, this is Wes in his goddamn prime.
Yeah.
And Brandon's over there beating him in a rope climb. And I was just very impressed. And it's one of those moments that we're like, man, people are sleeping on Brandon in this this time frame. People didn't think anything of him in a lot of ways. Cutthroat, he came out with a bunch of wins. Now he's beating Wes in this first round. Like, don't fuck with Brandon, but...
No. I mean, I like his personality, and better yet, he's a competitor, which is how to get to my heart. You know what I mean? But it was crazy because like when Ty was so close to that bell, and Kenny was just like right next to Ty's leg or whatever, you could hear Evan yelling out from the side like, "Pull him down, Kenny," and shit like that. Like,
I did not hear that.
Yeah. And, who knows? Maybe Kenny could have done it because it wasn't, like, said in the rules or anything, but that's how Evan and Kenny and Johnny think. They're just like,
right.
Well, they didn't technically say it and shit, so it was out of desperation where Evan's like, just do whatever you can, because I'm sure Evan and Johnny almost had a heart attack because they're like, how the fuck is this happening?
Well, I think they even said something like that.
Yeah.
At this, like, after the elimination, they just like, wow, like, we were on the edge of our seat, basically, saying stuff like, we were about to have a heart attack.
Yeah, cardiac arrest.
Cardiac arrest. So round two.
Round two between Brandon and Wes.
Since they were the winners.
Winner take all. And I kind of love it because like TJ's like, all right, it's between these two. Okay, so round two starts. And I just have to say, Wes is in his stance, ready to go. His fucking, you could tell in his eyes, he's ready to go. Brandon, he's got this look of almost already defeat in his eyes.
Yeah, I feel like he's in his own head, like, wow, I did so well the last time. I can't do it by myself. I can't do it alone, though. I can't do it right now again. I can't, I feel like those thoughts are going through his head.
Yeah. It's poison.
But I wish I could be right behind him, squeezing his butt cheek, being like, hey, you got this, buddy. Get your ass up that rope.
And TJ would be like, get the fuck up on the stairs and wash the jungle. What are you doing?
Sorry, Teach. I'd shimmy off. Not like a big jog, but just like a very slow jog.
And when you jog on the... speaking of which, real quick, I don't know why I'm including this, but those bridges that they all watch the jungle from, it's a rope bridge. Every time you walk on it, it kind of moves the entire thing. You ever notice that? Everyone just kind of moves and shit whenever you're walking. I have
not noticed that. No, that's weird. Because I feel like when you watch a show again, you see all these little details and stuff like that, but I did not notice that.
All right, so round two finally starts. Brandon versus Wes. They both jump onto the ropes.
Jump. Whoosh.
And
that was me catching the rope.
Yeah.
And then...
all those onomatopoeias were spelt out in the show. But Brandon, he slides off the ropes. Yeah, he lands in the water.
I feel like Wes let off a couple, poked a few water balloons out of his pocket or something, because I feel like Brandon was just suddenly covered in water. Because he's trying to go up, then all of a sudden he's like, what? Water's all everywhere. Slides down. Hits the bottom.
But he doesn't even try to go back up.
He just
kind of grabs the ropes and watches.
And then just watches Wes for a while. It wasn't even like a... all right, well, he was close to the top. No, Brandon just sat there and watched Wes go up 3/4 of the rope. And, I mean, I don't know. Maybe Brandon really did just put all of his effort into that first one, hoping that Ty would do the same thing and they would just win right away. But it was heartbreaking to watch Brandon just sit there for that long. Because it wasn't like a quick... even just watching it on the show, it wasn't quick.
Yeah.
So I can imagine in real life it wasn't quick. So I would expect it to be twice as long. Wes just, he's not coming up. I'm making movements with my hand at this point to where, for the viewers, going up the rope.
Not appropriate hand movements either, folks. I'm like, that's not a rope. But, he wishes it was a rope, but it's...
So then Brandon just sits there and watches Wes climb to the victory.
And CT shaking his head is like, God damn it, this was our chance. And Wes finally makes it to the top, rings the bell, drops onto the water. TJ's like, what happened, Brandon? You got up there, you beat him first.
Brandon
what happened?
Brandon was just picturing trying to, having sex with all the ladies. That's why you're not doing it, Brandon. Because you're giving up at the bottom of the goddamn rope.
Yeah. Yeah, the girls, they gum up the works, man. You got to get that shit out of your mind or some shit, man. So, yeah, Brendan
Maybe he got a boner. That's why he was down there. He's just thinking about having sex with other ladies. Then he had a boner. He's like, well, I got to stay under this water. I don't want to be climbing this rope with a boner. Maybe get some boner.
I'm like, finish it.
Boner burn. Boner burn.
Boner burn?
As in rope burn, but
Ooh,
boner
wow.
burn. So, right. So they lost, and
they're out of here. But you know what? Evan's like, you know what? Once again, Kenny looked like a wet rag out there, and he didn't bring his A game. Luckily, Wes brought his. And he's like, Wes, good job, man. And he goes to Kenny. He's like, Kenny, outstanding. And everyone just kind of laughs because it's like, Kenny, you're horrible, man. But Wes has a great line. He's like, I'm a physical specimen carved by Zeus. When people ask me what I'm good at, I say shit. That's what I'm good at, everything. Oh my God, drop the mic, Wes. Like, even if it's not true, even, you know, it's such a great line.
Might as well be true at this point. Like, he is literally carrying his whole fucking team at this point.
Yeah.
And Kenny says that. Wes is carrying me through the game at this point.
Yeah. And he's like, you know, if I don't...
Which I find funny just for later reasons. As what has
it all ties together later, man. Yeah. But yeah, and Kenny's like, you know, if I don't get my shit together, I'm gonna end up back in New Jersey where I don't want to be. And I'm sure a lot of New Jersey people are like, "Fuck you, buddy!" Like, what's the matter with this place? So I don't know. So back in the JEK bedroom, plus Adam, I always got to throw that in there,
dude. Watching this just because Wes is saying all this stuff to Kenny. Being like, hey, dude, no, like, you're good at what I'm not good at, and I'm good at what you're not good at. And it keeps cutting from this moment of him saying all this stuff to Kenny to try to keep his, like, you know, morale up, to him in his own interviews being like, yeah, Kenny sucks dick, so basically I just have to carry the fucking team, I guess. Hey, Kenny, dude, don't even worry about it. Tonight wasn't me, or it was me, but next time it might be you.
Yeah.
But in reality, in his interview here, it was insane to watch, and I felt uncomfortable watching it in a bit, like in a way. Yeah, I was just like, oh my gosh, like he's saying these things that you should say to somebody, but he's being blatant about how he just hates that he has to say these things to these people. I'm like, oh,
it was great because you know, all these guys, the JEK, they're just like, you know, trying to comfort Kenny, and Wes comes in and he's all wired up and he's getting high fives by everyone. And, you know, Wes has never been their friend. Wes has always been the enemy of these guys. And all of a sudden, they're just like, well, we have to high five him because he saved Kenny, you know. And you see Kenny just so horribly
I love
distraught.
that about it, too. Because they were in the ruins together. And everybody was just trying to get rid of Wes.
Oh, yeah.
And they were being so cocky about it then, too, as, you know, they would be and whatnot. And now it's just like, now they're just praising Wes. And Kenny, I feel like, has to be running through these past moments in his head, thinking, wow, we tried so hard to get rid of this fucker, and we should have been, like, trying to get him on our side or something, because, damn, he's doing some work right now.
Yeah. And Wes is saying, like, you know, he's saying, like, oh, you couldn't climb a rope? That's a weird thing to climb, or something like that, you know. And it was so condescending. It was so it was fantastic, really. And Wes is saying, you know, it's clear to me that Kenny is a low level employee and he's being demoted right now. So it's so it's clear to me that I have to take the reins and do what I do best and shit like that. So wonderful.
My favorite episode so far this season.
Yeah, it was great.
Such a good episode.
Yeah.
I would be cool watching this episode again and us doing another podcast on this episode.
Dude,
talking about the same things about this episode. Because this was a great episode.
Oh, great
Beautiful.
stuff. Great stuff. And like we were saying before in the third episode, I'm like, every episode this season is just topping the last, you know?
Well, yeah, like back then, it was all about building from the get-go to moments like this. And I might have even talked shit on the past episodes, but I appreciate it so much more now that it's happening, that we got through that stuff, and now it's really just crazy. And I was upset this season for them having 3 teams split up of that alliance, because it's like, come on, dude, like, they're the top dogs split up throughout 3 teams, like, they're gonna have some sway in the house with Paul and blah blah blah, but it's bringing such a different show than you would expect from that still, because CT and Adam have been killing it, and they're still going through this drama of trying to deal with him.
Yeah.
Brilliant. I just think the season at this point is brilliant.
Oh, yeah.
With the teams that they picked. At first I went, what the fuck? Now I'm like, what the fuck? I don't know. It's a better what the fuck, though.
Yeah, slightly more comical what the fuck. Yeah, I like it. Okay, so, well, that was the end of the episode. Real quick, like this podcast.
Comment. Why don't you comment? I dare you to comment.
Yeah.
I dare.
Yeah, come at me, bro.
I dare you.
Yeah.
To come at him.
Subscribe. Because that's, when you subscribe, when you like, it's different. It's different between a view. Because, like, someone could view it and then, they tune out after, like, 10 minutes.
They hightail it.
Who the fuck is it? Where's Dave? Fuck this. You know what I mean? But if you listen all the way through and you like it or you subscribe, that means a hell of a lot more. That means, hey, keep doing what you're doing and shit like that, And, what else do they gotta do? Try and share this. Fucking put it out there to other
share
fans
for the peeps.
and shit. Yeah.
If you're in a fan club of challenge lovers, let them know that we talk about old seasons from time to time. And guess what? They also talk about new seasons, which is about to happen here shortly.
That's right. Rivals 3 is coming up. So,
if you miss Dave, go listen to Rivals 3 podcast,
so angry.
all right?
So spiteful. Oh, you miss Dave? Huh?
I'm going to make so many fake profiles on the first Rivals 3 podcast you do. Where's Scott at? Where is he? Dave? I thought he was old news.
By the way, I mean, if you like this new guy, Scott, check out his YouTube channel, YouTube Scott Allwood. Go check him out.
Yeah.
Where he also does podcasts, skits, music videos,
and
challenges
I do my
of his
own
own.
Challenge.
Yeah,
with people from my hometown, where we've had over 200 people participate. That's fun in itself.
Yay! All right, so what else is new? I guess that's it, huh? Is that the end of the episode?
That's it.
All
I
right.
say, that's it.
That's it, motherfucker. Yeah. So this is Battle of the...
This is bye, man. Bye-bye.
Later, man.
See ya.